Well, hello. I'm Jay, escobarj.com. This is Healthy Habits 2020, and this is healthy habit number 19. Now, I've done 18 other healthy habits. I highly recommend you go check those out. I'll go ahead and post links to those videos to the description. But today, I want to talk to you about doing a video journal or writing a daily journal. And I think that this concept is very important because keeping a log of yourself in some form, it's going to help you remember past feelings, past experiences, and just help you reflect on past moments in your life from a future point. Maybe you'll get some inspiration. Maybe you'll remember what you were thinking at one point during that video log or journal. And maybe you never know. Some of those things that you say or write down in your journal will help you in the future. Maybe you forgot about a couple things that you used to remember, you used to know, and could apply to you at some point into the future. You just never know, because life goes on, and you learn new things and you go about new things, and you forget about old things that really maybe could benefit you into the future. And I just started doing this year, actually, is keeping video log. And actually, I've been considering doing this as a immortality project, so to speak. And what I mean by that is, in essence, I'm leaving a part of who I am, a part of myself, for my children's children, or I guess my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren, and my posterity and generations that are to come. And the idea behind this is to actually be a part of their life in some fashion or some degree, because obviously at some point we're all going to die, and we want to live on as long as possible. That's why people build businesses, or leave legacies, leave large financial posterities to their downline, is for them to be remembered as some sort. That's why people write books and do all sorts of things. That's why, like, for example, my grandmother, she's huge into genealogy, and she's huge into telling stories of her parents and great grandparents and great grandparents, and just our ancestors and our family. And for me, it's a little difficult because obviously, I love my grandmother, but listening to a lot of her stories, I mean, a lot of times they're long and kind of boring, but I appreciate the fact that she wants to share those things. And I am interested in learning about my ancestors. It's just not the way and the form that I take information in or get engaged by. Some people like to read, and I force myself to read at times, but the way that I learn and I recognize my strengths is audio and visually. That's the best way that I learn, through video, and hence why I do videos. And so for me, it would be amazing if I could actually watch a video of maybe my great 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 grandparent, or great great grandparent, or somebody who lived in the past, and I could watch a video of how their life went and their experiences and what they went through and some of the things they learned. And I would be personally, I'd be very interested in seeing that. And instead of hearing it, from a third party perspective, where things can get skewed, it's kind of like the game of telephone. You tell one thing to a circle of people, and by the end of the little circle, the message is completely skewed, right? And so this way, you're hearing it directly from the horse's mouth. And it would be much more interesting to hear from my ancestors directly, like how they were thinking, the way that they thought about things, their negative or positivity, where they were at in their lives, how old they were, the experiences they were going through, the pains they went through, what they learned from that pain, or maybe successes. It'd be much more interesting to learn from it from that perspective, from first person instead of third person. And and visually and auditorily instead of with the written word or through a third party. And so, it would, for me, that's kind of been my immortality project, is to just leave a little piece of myself behind to the people that, my children, my great grandchildren and their children and their children and their children, and address the videos to them, so to speak. And you could do this in written form if that's the way that you learn, and that's the way that, a lot of your family learns, is through written word. And that can be very good, but it leaves out certain elements, right? Where as video, if you do video logs, you're actually seeing the person. You can see their body language, read their body language. You can observe what they looked like and thought like directly from them. It's got audio and video into it, so you have two means of communication versus just one with the written word and maybe some pictures. But with video, you can actually see how they react, how they thought, their facial expressions, and just there's a lot more depth to it. And it would just be a lot more interesting, at least from my perspective, to learn from my family that way instead of with the written word or through my grandparents' stories. I'm sure everybody has their grandparents, and their grandparents always tell stories about their life and stuff. And some of them are actually really interesting. But when they're talking about their parents and their great grandparents and et cetera, it can get a little dull. And so this would be a great healthy habit. And that I've actually started this healthy habit this year. And I have several videos, actually probably several tens of videos at this point. Probably not quite 100 yet, but probably somewhere in the 50 to 100 range, somewhere in there, of videos that I've done, of daily journals of things that I'm going through, pains and experiences and things that I've done, and good times and bad times, and my thought processes. And personally, I think it'd be a lot more interesting for my generations after me to see versus just me leaving. And obviously I plan to write a book and several books and do a lot of other things to leave a immortality project, so to speak. But essentially, either way, even if you do just keep a daily journal and you just write in it, that's better than doing nothing. Especially because, for yourself, I mean, you could go back and watch some of your own videos, for example, and see some of the pains you were going through and remember, man, I remember that time. That was really, really hard time. And I remember how much I had to persevere and be relentless to make it through that. And man, I'm so happy that I did that. And you remember that, and you just remember it brings back the feelings of the way you were feeling about yourself. And so there's just a lot of really cool, interesting, and different dynamics of doing video journaling or just a regular journal that there's a lot of benefit to. Plus, it'll help you get your feelings out and help you, the way you heal pain is you feel it. And the way you can feel it is meditation, but also by talking about it and getting it out of your system and getting it out of your body, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, etc. And you'll be able to feel better if you just use video logs as maybe a way to vent about your problems, or if you use a daily journal, if you're a writer, to vent about your issues or your problems, and it'll help you get your feelings out and get them organized in a way that will help you feel better after. It'll make you it'll make you feel heard and understood to a certain degree, of course. So I hope you enjoyed this healthy habit. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the little subscribe button and bell icon. If you'd like some help with this topic, if you really don't know how to start a video log or anything like that, you can visit my website at escobarj.com and book a coaching session. I'd be happy to help you in this area. Also, if you would like to share this, you can share this on any social media platform, as you can see here, with your friends and family, because maybe one of your friends and family, this idea for them is an amazing idea and they'll take advantage of it and can leave something for their generations to come. So other than that, hope you're always learning, always growing, and always pushing forward. And I will see you in the next video.